Hello, and welcome to this short presentation about ReIReSearch and how to contribute data to this discovery platform for religious studies. For those of you who are already familiar with ReIReSearch, you might notice that it has undergone some changes in order to repurpose and rebrand the platform for resilience. For those of you who are not yet familiar with ReIReSearch, I will start this presentation by giving you some background information. ReIReSearch was developed as part of the Horizon 2020 funded ReIReS project. The maintenance and expansion of the platform is now integrated into resilience as one of its research-enhancing services. The ambition of ReIReSearch is to offer a platform where different digital resources and databases are searchable in a unified and standardized way. The data providing institutions house their own collections of manuscripts, documents, and rare books, and represent valuable and relevant collections of Jewish, Christian, and Muslim works. To address the growing needs of scholars to discover large sets of data such as these, ReIReS designed ReIReSearch, a unified discovery environment for sources relevant to religious studies, which is now being maintained as a part of resilience. Rather than consulting different collections separately or having to adjust their specific searches to the way these collections are indexed, users can search them from one location using a single query. The goal of ReIReSearch is to bring together the numerous digital resources and databases already available in the domain of religious studies from public research institutions and make them available via a unified discovery system. Why is such a unified discovery environment for religious studies necessary? Well, it relates to the four main challenges that researchers have to deal with today. The first challenge is related to finding relevant material on the web. With every library, archive, etc. having its own website or online catalog, relevant material is widely distributed. It requires prior knowledge of where certain collections and datasets are located, insight into terminology that is used, and often knowledge of multiple languages to find a relevant body of data. The second challenge has to do with access. If, after a lot of searching, a researcher has succeeded in identifying the right websites and databases, they must again become familiar with all those different platforms, each with their own look and feel, search functions, keywords, etc. In addition, the quality of the platforms varies greatly. Researchers are hampered in their search by poor search results sometimes, or by a lack of persistent links for citation purposes, etc. Thirdly, there's also the interoperability challenge. There's an increasing need to extract data for analysis and research in domain-specific applications. Although data is increasingly accessible in machine-readable formats, the variety of description models and formats used in different platforms means that researchers must always interpret and align the data from scratch. Creating a collection of relevant data, therefore, requires a great deal of technical knowledge and time. Lastly, there's also sometimes a lack of clear documentation and license specification that makes the reuse of potential research data more difficult. These challenges coincide with the FAIR principles for making data more findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. Therefore, the work on ReIReSearch focuses on making the metadata of many collections more adhering to FAIR principles by overcoming specific challenges. ReIReSearch brings together and harmonizes the metadata from valuable collections. It provides ways of finding and accessing the original record on the provider portal, and if available, gives access to a digital representation of the source. It provides tools for collecting and exporting the metadata in interoperable formats, and it provides clear license statements for metadata and motivates the providers to do so for digital representations as well. In order for ReIReSearch to be a useful tool, of course, it needs more data. As a service for resilience, we want to expand ReIReSearch. We want to keep looking for rare or special collections, but also expand to more modern collections and different data types. This is why we're looking for institutions interested in contributing to ReIReSearch. But contributing data to ReIReSearch is also beneficial to providers themselves. It increases the visibility of your collections and helps to attract more researchers to explore and work with your collections. Of course, in order to contribute to ReIReSearch, your institution or platform also needs to hold the necessary rights to freely and openly share the data with us. This relates to the first and most important question to answer when getting in touch with us. Under which license is the data currently available, and under which license can or do I want to share the data to ReIReSearch? We are always open to onboarding new and relevant data collections, but it is important to take into account that at the moment, ReIReSearch is only looking to integrate open datasets. ReIReSearch accepts some data standards for integration because it's difficult to integrate data with different metadata formats. Internally, these data standards are mapped to schema.org. If you deliver in one of the formats you see in the slide, this means that no extra steps for mapping need to be taken by your institution. When getting in touch for data integration in ReIReSearch, you should therefore describe the data model currently used. Accepted data formats for delivery at the moment are METS.XML, MARC.XML, and schema.org JSON-LD. Only basic metadata is required to contribute data because we are not looking to replace existing platforms. We mainly want to make the data on it more findable from a unified discovery environment. The minimal requirements for data contribution are an identifier and name for the record, a link to the original record at the original platform, and a link to the digital representation when it is available. If you cannot deliver the data in one of these data formats, the data must first be mapped by your institution to a structure that matches the schema.org data available in ReIReSearch. Schema.org exists in several formats, but for raw data delivery, JSON-LD is the best fit. More documentation on mapping to the schema.org data model will obviously be provided. The decision to use schema.org for ReIReSearch was based on its use case. It's a widely used ontology, which was originally developed by the big search engines like Google, Bing, and Yandex. It's now being maintained and extended by the international community and has the main benefit that schema.org records are highly interoperable and are better suited to indexation by search engines. If needed, the application profile can also be easily extended with new classes and properties from other ontologies. The third thing to take into account, besides rights and the data format, is the preferred method of transferring data, which at the moment would be either OAI PMH or via an FTP transfer. How often data needs to be transferred depends on the data set, of course, and its finality. Some collections might be considered complete with nothing new ever to be added to it. In that case, one data transfer could be enough. But since most data sets will at least periodically receive updates, agreements also need to be made on how these updates are to be arranged. All of this will have to be discussed because every situation is different, and in order to consolidate these mutual agreements, an ingest agreement will be drafted. To have your data accessible in ReIReSearch, the first step is always to get in touch. We can supply you with details and information. You can describe your database so we can contextualize your request with information on the content and technical state. For the content, description of the dataset is a good start, and for the technical state, the metadata model of the dataset and the data delivery protocols will need to be outlined. If eventually your dataset is to be added, you will need to fill out a more detailed ingest agreement, which stipulates the exact definitions on data delivery, licensing, contact information, etc. The agreement serves primarily to document the process of adding and maintaining your data in ReIReSearch. If you want to get in touch with us to discuss contributing a dataset or collection, you can contact us via reiresearch.helpdesk@libis.be. Based on an intake conversation, both parties can then agree whether to go ahead with including the data in ReIReSearch and how these procedures will be outlined. The platform is also open to institutions who are not a part of Resilience. Of course, you might also be interested in exploring the platform first. If so, you can do so by visiting reiresearch.eu. Thank you for watching this introduction on how to contribute to ReIReSearch.